Hello there, and welcome back to another session of HERETICUS. Before we get going though, I'm apparently having some issues, some technical difficulties with Roll20, the virtual tabletop we're using to play this game. I can't log in. I've contacted Roll20's support, and apparently, yeah, it's not going to be solved before game start, unfortunately. So, I'm unable to view Roll20, which means I can't transport the players onto new maps. I can't show them journal entries, and I can't see the dice they roll. This is not a deal breaker in any way. We can still play. It just requires that the players inform me what the result of their dice rolls are.
Yeah, well, we're going to be rolling them in Roll20 anyway,
Yes.
so you know there will be other people who can verify what the rolls are, obviously.
Yes, and verification really isn't the issue. It's just a matter of
No.
Normally I'd be able to see the results, and there wouldn't have to be any kind of vocal confirmation of rolls or anything in that regard.
We can just minimize the number of dice rolls that we need to make.
We just auto-succeed at everything.
Or auto-fail.
Don't go there, because, yeah, exactly, he might go with the auto-fail thing instead.
It is the 41st Millenium.
Exactly. Nothing.
He has a point there.
Nothing ever goes quite according to plan, does it?
Nope.
Yes,
But having Roll20 makes us aware of how many degrees under instantly. That's a good thing.
I mean, that does sound like an actual weapon in the game. The Calixtus pattern auto-failer.
Yes, it does.
It really does. It really does.
I don't think I want to be a part of this. That sounds very scary.
Yeah.
I'm still all kinds of chuffed at what I learned earlier today about another sci-fi game, but that's about it. That was the funniest thing ever. It was literally described as a live action role-playing game in the game.
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. Anyway, yes.
Yep.
I'll be making a little note of that on Sunday, I think, for the werewolf game.
Yeah. So, but this does mean also that the viewing audience can't. They'll see the intro splash and then also the map of the Calixtus sector, and that's it.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Ken has all the secrets.
Yes. And this also means that you can't really whisper anything to me in Roll20. You'll need to do so via Skype or something like that.
Yes.
If you have anything you need to communicate to me and me alone. That's it. What happened last time? I'm not doing the recap because last time I did, I kind of melted 2 sessions into one. So, what happened?
No, it's fine. You're doing the recap on Sundays.
Yeah.
Last time we were we had decided to, obviously the session even before that, we decided to go and look at the many vile evils of the Middle Hive, basically. Let's call it sightseeing. Because we needed to spend some hours, some days, some time doing something except sitting around in the tricorn doing bother all. I think Francesca wouldn't have minded doing bother all because she can always fill it up with prayer, but everyone else would have gone stir crazy. So we ended up going to the Middle Hive and taking a good long look around and coming across some of the downtrodden masses, not to put too fine a point on it, but we also came across some street preachers who got uncomfortably close to heresy. They did not actually make any flagrant heretical statements, but they each skirted just on the fine line, and they did so very. We didn't get any specific examples, obviously, and that's probably a good thing because there are different interpretations of the Imperial Creed which are accepted in the Imperium. But there are some basic facts that are in place that cannot be debated, such as the emperor's divinity and the saints and so on and so forth. And yet we were told that these people got really close to heresy on numerous occasions. So Francesca decided to go up to one of them and basically scare the pants off him. Not by yelling and shouting at him, but by simply informing him while standing there glowering at him in full battle gear that he needed to find his way to the nearest temple and then be done with it. We went and talked to or tried to talk to the what are they called, the Adeptus Arbites afterwards, to report that there was this issue with potential heresy in the streets. We ran into a really obnoxious little cretin of a pencil-pushing bureaucratic bastard who thought himself high and mighty because, you know, he had this little bit of power and he was going to milk it for everything it was worth. So getting to talk to whoever was in charge was not an option until 3 months and 17 days later. So basically, fuck that shit. And we decided instead to go directly to the cathedral nearby, which was later dubbed, I believe, the Cathedral of the Winged Martyr. And while there, we spoke first to an ordinary priest, and then to the bishop of this place, and explained the situation, and the bishop blessed everyone and so on and so forth. And we got told that there was apparently an ongoing problem with this. And we went back to the Tricorn, talked about this, thought it over, and got told, incidentally, by our inquisitor through middleman, basically, that we were supposed to actually go and investigate this closer. Because this was, you know, obviously a potential heresy, and we work for the Ordo Hereticus. It was sort of relevant. So we did decide to go back and investigate. We split into two groups. We had Achelon and Francesco walking around in one group because they were kind of, well, being inconspicuous is not really an option for her, especially in full battle gear, and for him only slightly less so. So they were supposed to be the ones who walked around and basically scared these street preachers into possibly into running away, and the other two were then to follow them, or at least see if they could hear anything about what was going on. The problem then was, of course, that we came across the same moron who had already been warned off by Francesca once already. He was right back out there doing his near heretical street preaching yet again. So she basically decided, okay, you had your chance. Now you're going to serve the emperor on the firing line. And she brought him to the nearest public plaza, used the Voxcaster system there, declared his heresy to all and sundry, and put a bolter shell through, well, exploded his head by way of bolter shell. I doubt there was enough left of it afterwards for it to really be called a head. And the others were at the same time. Achelon obviously was there, and the others were overhearing chitter and chatter in the what's it called, in the crowd of people, apparently also from at least some people who had something to do with this whole near heresy shit. And right as we ended, the doors to the cathedral had been thrown open and bells were ringing at a time where they should not be ringing. There was not a matter of, you know, prayer being called or service or whatever being called. It was entirely out of sequence, and that's where we stopped, as I remember it anyway.
Yes, that
Well,
is
that
indeed
were
right.
the little detail of people with blood all over them running out of it.
Yes.
All right. Right.
You
And Medea and Tim going closer so they saw the bloody people running out of it screaming and this organization.
Yes.
That is correct. There was some blood spatter on some of the people exiting the cathedral of the Winged Martyr, as it was dubbed during the session. So yes, that is indeed where we'll kick off tonight's session. Sister Francesca and Accolon, as I recall it, you were still standing upon the podium upon which you had executed this heretic.
Mhm.
Yes.
Poor heretic.
This, well, Sister
There's nothing
Francesca
poor about
executed him. I just sort of stood there and let it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And so, from your vantage point, you're able to see the doors being flung open and the churchgoers pouring out of the cathedral.
Mhm.
You're not able to see quite as many details as
No, of
Tim
course not.
and Medea are, but you can still see you can see the indications of panic. Meanwhile, oh sorry, go on.
Yeah, Francesca's first reaction is to tell Accolon to step up onto the podium next to her, because that means he is not going to get swept away if a stampede starts down below, because as I recall, he was standing next to the podium.
Yes.
And she was standing up on it.
Yes.
Possibly. I mean, it doesn't even if it doesn't matter either way. All I remember is that he got spattered in the face with a gob of blood when the execution occurred.
That's true. He did. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
But
Then
yes.
he is probably up there.
Yes. Either way, he stays close by.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what you two notice then is that there is no stampede as such. There is the panic coming from the churchgoers exiting the church, and for the rest of the crowd, it's mostly curiosity, what's going on, mixed with the fact that most of them have to go to work or have to go home and sleep for 2 hours before they report to work once again. So they continue on with their routines, even though this is rather this is not something that happens every day. People
You paint such a beautiful picture of Orwell's 1984 here.
Well, so there is no stampede. There is the people going to and from the manufactorums they work in. Also, there are other people coming up from the church who are rather panicked, and Medea and Tim, you can see them clearly. Some of them, as I mentioned last time, are covered in blood and are running. Some falling down the stairs as
They're trying to get out as if someone tried to eat their ass.
Yep.
I'm starting to feel a little like ow. Every time people talk about someone that I don't know, it's like who.
So yeah, what are you gonna do?
Well, Francesca looks at Accolon and says, with a raised eyebrow, says, "Right now, it would have been nice if the flamer I requested had been delivered."
The blessings of the Emperor do not come quick, but be assured they will eventually come.
Indeed.
So, but I do see your point. Besides, I get the impression that what's happening over there should not be happening. Do you think we should meddle?
I think the very act of me moving over there constitutes meddling, doesn't it?
You are a decisive presence, I must confess.
It's
I
worth.
suppose we should probably get over there because we do actually have friends who might get caught in that.
Mm-hmm.
Not by choice at all. Don't blame Medea for running in there.
Speaking of which, I seem to recall Medea actually running into the church. Was pretty much the last thing that happened last time. Also, you do see Tim as well in the crowd near the stairs leading up to the church. Tim failing spectacularly on a move silent roll last time.
Oh right, yes.
Everyone can hear him.
I don't remember that.
Well, I do because I just listened to the ending. So.
Damn it.
Okay,
Well,
so.
I can see the last roll he made was a concealment, and it was 1.5 degrees of success.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Why did I?
I tried a fellowship with a minus 5.4.
Oh, it might have been. That might have been. Okay, so then you don't actually see Tim in the crowd. Sorry about that, Tim.
He's also
Don't
one in
worry,
the crowd, right?
I'm very
Forgettable
average
face.
looking and unremarkable, so
Yes.
I'm hard to spot in a crowd.
Yeah, exactly. But do you
But
run?
Medea, you probably see.
Yeah. Do you follow Medea into the church?
Someone's gotta keep an eye on her.
Sure. Okay, so
You're gonna see what's going on in there. There's blood.
there is blood,
Oh.
and there's also blood on the stairs as you move up them.
I want to see what happened.
Yeah, they're wasting good food, aren't they?
No. It's just red. Red is pretty.
Yes, I didn't realize that the curiosity trait from the Stronger Chart carried over to this character as well.
Well, she's not curious about other regular stuff. If it's just people walking around, then she doesn't really care. But there's blood and people screaming and running out of the church.
Yes.
In fairness, I suppose this is part of what we should look into.
Yes. Because we're not
She
the average.
figured. Well, she didn't figure. She just wanted to know what the hell was going on. She wanted to see if a priest had gone crazy and started killing everyone. Yeah,
Well,
that
that's
would be something worth writing home about when she learns to write.
Not only that, it would make our job considerably easier because all we'd have to do is shoot the bastard. Anyway.
Yeah, there's upsides to everything.
Yes. Medea,
Upsides.
as you enter into the relative darkness of the cathedral, because compared to the outside, it is rather dark in here at the moment. There is enough light for you to realize that apart from some figure standing up by the altar, you are alone in here.
Gee, that
Well, I stopped directly in the opening of the door and then peek around because there's no one else in here other than a person up on the... Was it by the altar?
Yeah, by the altar, standing in front of
Are
it.
the cathedrals built kind of like Christian churches, or
Well,
where you walk in and then there's rows of piers and then the altar in the end?
this one is, except it's much taller than any Christian cathedral would be.
Okay.
And this person is moving about up there. You can't see the details of what this person is doing. You can, but you can see that he's moving about. He's doing something, or she. You can't really see if it's a he or a she. You do also see that the person is dressed in ecclesiastical garb.
And I
So
should
he's-
probably
he's-
not shoot him.
He's a clergyman of some sort, or she again. That's
Yeah.
what you see as you come in. You stand by the you stand in the entrance, and you can see this figure standing up by the altar. And as far as you can tell, he's the only figure beside yourself in the room in the cathedral.
Does it seem like he's seeing me?
He's not
Then I'm
making.
gonna go hide myself because it's kind of annoying being one of those that's all bloody
Sure.
and that.
And you can, of course, in the on the floor, within the just inside the entrance, you can see blood.
But only there, not further in. There's no bodies or anything laying around.
Not as far as you can see, standing where you are, or crouching, or whatever it is you're doing now.
Alright.
But that's not to say that there isn't anything. There aren't any bodies, dead people, lying around inside the cathedral. Because
I
you
see
can't-
dead
you can't see. Indeed, you can't see everything inside. It is relatively dark, as I mentioned.
Alright. Well, she sneaks around.
Okay.
Hiding between the... What are they called in here? Benches?
The pews.
Piers? Pews?
Okay, and Tim, you reach the entrance as well, of course.
I also try to assess the situation along with any exits and entrances to the room and any vantage points.
Okay, vantage points. There are multiple levels to this. The room, the cathedral itself. I forget what the room's called in church speak, but it's several stories tall. So there's galleries on the left and right side going as you look up from where people can stand and observe the ceremonies going on down in the cathedral.
And which way did Medea go?
Well, which way did Medea go? That's the question.
Left.
She went left.
He would have seen it from outside that she crouched and then
That's
snuck
that's
into
that's
the
true.
left.
That's true. He would have seen that, even if he can't quite see.
So that's why I'm answering.
Yeah.
In that case, it may be best to try and flank any potential opponent, and if she went left, I will go right.
Okay. So
Also
you,
sneaking.
Okay, so you follow along the walls. Okay. Well, the figure standing up by the altar doesn't seem to notice you. He stands. He remains in place, doing something you can't quite tell from where you're crouching.
If only I had my scope so I could zoom in on him.
Well, you didn't bring that.
No, I had to turn it into Mr. Grouch.
Oh,
That's
Groucho.
That's true.
You know what? I will just try to figure it out anyways, because I have heightened sense of sight.
Okay.
I will observe the man.
Okay. Well, I'm going to need you to roll an awareness test then.
Yes, and since it's
I,
sight-based, I will get plus 10, I can see.
Perfect. Aware all the stuff.
Yes.
I like the fact that it's Quartermaster Quasar because it's QQ.
QQ.
So that's 0.2 degrees of success.
Okay, so it is a success.
Yes.
It's a success, but not mega success.
Well, like I said, the man is dressed in ecclesiastical garb, which is to say a white robe. You were present last time you visited the church, weren't you? You were there with the sister and Akalon and.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you
We were all here.
basically yeah, that's true. So you would also, at this point, as you creep closer, you also recognize the bishop. And you see blood pouring down from a wound, apparently self-inflicted, because Tim, as you observe the man, it's clear that he's holding a knife and he's cutting himself.
Is that normal practice?
Nope. Well, for
No,
some
there-
fringe cults
Yeah.
maybe, but
Flagellation is not uncommon.
no.
But-
But this
But
doesn't.
this is going to
Yes.
another level entirely.
Yes.
Well,
As Akalon would say, that's not a prescribed method of flagellation. Where's my pamphlet?
basically, when people run screaming out of the church, it's usually not the right thing they're doing. Because if it was normal, then they wouldn't have run out screaming. They would just have been, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya.
It's true, but I can't hear the creepy music I'm sure Heine is imagining accompanying this place. So for me, it's just a man standing, and apparently he's cutting himself.
But
I know the creepy music. It's the Teletubbies.
No, it's really not the Teletubbies.
No.
I'm actually, as I understand it, the music in these cathedrals is usually extremely beautiful.
Yes.
It's choir music, yes, but it's very, very epic.
Yes.
I assume the choir also ran away screaming, though.
Yes.
Well, like I said,
Yeah.
the room is empty except for you two and the bishop standing
And
up
the
by
ominous Latin choir that is hiding.
Sure.
Hey,
Of course.
hey, Joan,
Mhm.
guess what we could use right now?
Me?
The set of communicators you didn't want because the radius weren't long enough.
Yep.
Oh, that's
I've
true.
been thinking the very same
true.
thing myself.
So yes, let's make it a new rule. When something is offered to us by the quartermaster, we damn well take it because clearly the GM has something in mind for them.
Well, I do
Practice
seem to
notes.
recall that Sister Francesca actually asked for them, and he said that
Okay.
he did have a set, but that they didn't reach far enough, according to her wishes.
Oh, fair enough.
As I recall it anyway.
But it would have been nice when we're out working anyway.
Yep. There is
well.
they do reach. You two
Wow.
would be able to communicate, and I actually think you'd be able to communicate with the sister as well and Akalon. Anyway.
Yeah, you said it had a range of about a mile or something like that.
Yeah, maybe I don't recall, but anyway, they are quite handy in situations.
Yeah,
such as this one.
absolutely. I mean, if they're standard communicators, I'm sure there's some stats on them somewhere, but
Yeah.
no, who cares right now, at least?
Well, since we can't communicate, I'll defer to my orders, but I don't remember what they were.
Investigate?
Oh well, no shooting then. I'll just sneak closer to get a better picture of what he's doing.
Okay.
Did Medea
So
get
I'll
the
investigate.
Oh, you'll investigate. What did you say, Aya?
Did Medea get the same orders?
I assume so.
Okay. Let's see. Nope.
Yeah.
I rolled an intelligence to see what she would think would be a good idea to do now to investigate.
Okay.
Minus 3.8 degrees of success.
Okay.
Minus.
So in this case, whatever conclusion you reach, it's surely a poor one.
I rolled a 69.
Yeah.
I know what she's
Well-
thinking.
We don't know what's going on. Let's ask him.
God.
She steps out and then just walks up to him. Hello.
Okay. So a few things before she reaches him. First of all, Tim, you see her stepping out of the shadows, as it were, and I guess at least that based on her body language, it's clear to Tim what her intention is. Are you going to do anything to stop it?
I think I will. Let me just figure out what I'm going to do.
I imagine a cartoon now where you see everything from her point of view. And in the shadows right behind the priest, there's a man flailing wildly going, no.
Is there anything nearby small that I can pick up?
Anything small you can pick up, such as...
I just want something small that I can throw.
Okay, let's see. Sure. Lying on the ground is a small aquila, which is this double-headed eagle, two-headed eagle.
I'm going to feel bad about throwing that one.
Well, it's lying nearby.
There's a glass slipper Cinderella ran off.
I attempt to throw it up onto the balcony thing to make hopefully to make so that if there's any noise, he'll look that way, and then I'll hope Medea is smart enough to look my direction.
Okay. Okay. So this, by the way, this Aquila, this two-headed eagle is a pendant on a necklace. So
Oh,
okay.
then I can kind of use it like a sling, I suppose.
Yeah, you can. You
To
absolutely
get some
can.
more momentum.
So basically, you're trying to distract him.
You
Yes.
throw it up on the gallery above, and it does make a clanky sound as the medallion hits the hits its mark. Medea, you can hear it. You can hear the motion.
Well, I look up there. There was a strange sound. I wonder what that was.
There's nothing there.
Oh, and I muted just as I spoke.
Stop that.
I'm so used to unmuting to speak.
Yeah.
And at that point, do I make a sound or do I throw something at her?
It should be said that the bishop hasn't stopped doing what he's doing. It seems to you that he's unaware that anything is going on.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Then I make a sound to get her attention.
Well, in the empty cathedral, that sound carries quite
God.
clearly. So, Medea,
Well,
you
first
hear it.
the where the commotion upstairs. She looks there, and then there's a and that echoes everywhere.
Yep.
She looks mystified. She doesn't know Tim went in with her. And then just tries to find the origin of this echoing sound.
Well, you can, as I understand it, Tim wasn't being particularly hidey, so
I did say he would sneak in,
that's true. That's true, I suppose.
but he would have to lean out from behind the pillar or whatever to make himself visible.
Yeah, and he
And
does.
motion for her to come to him.
Yeah, exactly. He does want her attention. So yeah, you spot Tim.
Does the bishop still seem completely unaware?
Yes, absolutely. He seems, whatever it is he's doing, it has his full attention. And you can both hear.
What way is he facing?
He's facing toward the altar, so
So
you can.
toward
Away
the
from
back
us.
area of the
Yep,
church, not the area we are actually in.
exactly.
Well,
Then I
Tim-
catfoot all the way over to Tim in a bow around him so I don't get too close.
And Tim will have made the come hither motion and then put a finger to his lips, as in be quiet.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I was gonna ask him what the fuck he's doing.
Tim just gives her a look.
And it's at that point that you hear coming from the bishop a scream that is both of pain and ecstasy.
Ugh. It's a widow.
Yeah, this guy needs a bolter shell.
Slaneshi bastard.
Speaking of which, what is Sister Francesca and Accolon doing at this point?
Well, I mean, the point is that as soon as we've kind of pointed out that we should probably, save the others from themselves, sort of what's-name thingamabob.
Right.
The point is to head in that general direction.
Okay, so let's say that by the time they've met up and Tim's been asking Medea what she's doing, you'll reach the entrance to the cathedral and you can look into
Yes. We see this chamber of horrors, obviously.
Well, you see an empty church and some blood on the floor, and then you see the figure standing up by the altar. And I imagine that roughly when you arrive at the entrance, that's when he makes this scream of pain and ecstasy.
Good grief. All right. Well, Francesca walks in. She has, the way she sees it is that she is never, in fact, alone in the Emperor's holy church. So, back straight, bolter up over her shoulder, held like like you would rest your rifle. Basically, she's holding it so that it rests muscle up,
Sure.
but on her shoulder, and she walks up closer to see what is going on, because I mean, obviously the man is in some kind of problematic ecstasy. Let's just call it that.
Yes, indeed.
And so when she gets close enough for him to actually hear, she calls out to him in a loud and clear voice and says, "Desist this instantly."
Okay, so Akalon, what are you doing?
Crying in a corner.
Tempting, but no. What I'm doing is I am, upon seeing the situation, I'm doing my best to follow in the same rough direction, but I'm also, when we get to the point where we're close enough to be within sort of speaking range, Akalon is sort of crouched behind, if not one of the pews, then certainly something that is suitable as cover, and has got his las pistol trained on the figure.
Okay.
In case he blows up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
And
he lets Francesca do the talking.
and Tim and Medea, you're standing by the side wall, by the right wall.
I think there was something about a pillar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you don't imagine there being pillars
No, there can absolutely
to
be
hide
pillars.
behind.
No,
This-
that is
this-
absolutely the
this-
case.
This building
Ma-
is about, I don't know, 10 times the size of the largest cathedral on Earth today. I think there'll be
Yes.
pillars.
Yes.
It could be a
Yeah.
floating cathedral with
Ooh, nope, no.
floating balloons on top of it. It up.
To be honest, that does probably exist somewhere in the Imperium, but not here.
I mean,
Not
what's
here,
the cathedral of the winged whatever? She might be into balloons, right?
Maybe, but in this case, there aren't any balloons.
Medea hears Francesca, and then she just looks at him. See?
Let her distract the maniac.
Okay.
If the maniac blessed us yesterday, how much was that blessing worth?
Depends on how crazy he is, I suppose.
And all this you whisper as Francesca calls out to the bishop standing up by the altar. It should be mentioned, Akalon, that and this happens before she stops and addresses the bishop. There is a disturbance in your vision. There's this blur all of a sudden, and as it dissipates, it's no longer the bishop standing up there, but an armor-clad skeleton.
Ah, yes, this fine fellow. Armor-clad, as in traditional.
armor.
Is it some kind of skeletal chaos marine?
No, it's you've seen pictures of basically a knight in armor, in plate armor.
Yeah. So
from the
okay. So
olden days.
oh, excellent. So yes, it's the kind of thing that Akalon would only have really seen on statues or something
Yes,
similar.
statues and illustrations in books and so on. Absolutely not something he would have seen with his own eyes.
He sees it. He won't speak about it just yet because Francesca is clearly in control of the situation, and
Yeah, right.
well, basically, there's no point. There's no point bursting out. What are you?
No,
It's-
that's true.
wait until it at least acknowledges that that it at least responds to the fact that there are other people in the building before going into the whole speak now what you truly are spiel. But yeah.
Okay. So Francesca commands the bishop to desist. And he turns around to face her, but it's clear that he's not actually seeing her or Akalon for that matter, or anyone. What you see is basically the bishop has been cutting out his own ribs. And he looks, well, he's pale as death, really. He's lost quite a lot of blood.
For goodness sakes, he's dying.
Yes. And
but clearly he's enjoying it.
he looks around, confused, and then says, as he walks down the steps leading from the altar down onto the floor. The altar is raised upon a podium. He asks someone or no one, why did the rain stop? And then he looks up toward the ceiling that's all but lost in darkness, and he shouts, or he tries to shout at least, "Make it rain again!" And as he does so, it starts raining. Blood.
Yeah, she puts a bullet in him.
Okay.
I think something similar. For once, Akalon doesn't need someone else to tell him to give the impression he does as he launches. He fires a las round at roughly the same time.
Yeah. And Medea and Tim, do you act or do you just watch the carnage, or do you try to get out of this damned blood rain?
That is a good question.
You see, Medea and Akalon are absolutely drenched in it at this point.
Francesca tells them to stand closer, and then she lights up.
Okay.
The whole halo of light thing, because this is not right. And so basically, she will be a small beacon of the Emperor's pure faith in the midst of this corruption.
I think Tim will say to Medea, "Go get him. I'll find a better position." And then he'll try to find a vantage point of some sort to have the overview.
Okay.
And the shooty view.
A short climb would get him up onto the gallery above, and he would have quite a vantage point from there.
Cool. I distinctly remember leaving my rifles at home, but I still have my pistols, and I can still aim with those.
Yes. Yeah, you absolutely can. You can aim with any ranged weapon. Okay, so Sister Francesca and Akalon, you put a bullet and words.
Last round.
Last round. Thank you. Into this man, and he dies. He was already dying, and
yes, there is no question. This is a matter of putting him out of the last few twitches of life. Yes.
And it should be there's no last words, no look of surprise, unless he just flies up onto the altar, really.
Yes.
And
how dramatic.
He's dead.
Well, at this point, there is no question that we need we need, for one thing, to get the bastard up there in the rafters, but we also need to close this down until the remaining forces of the Inquisition arrives. There is no way the public is getting back into this building with what has just happened here. The whole place is as far as Francesca is concerned, this whole place is a den of corruption and heresy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you do?
Did Medea try to follow? Right? Am I right?
Follow who?
The up under the roof, or how was it?
Was there someone up under the roof?
Well,
I think I must have misunderstood then.
I think basically Tim wanted Medea to engage with him like we were on the ground floor while he went up a level to get advantage.
Oh,
Yes.
like so. Okay.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was it. Okay. Well, in that case,
As far as anyone being up in the rafters, maybe. After all, it did
Well, at least-
suddenly start to rain blood. So
exactly.
something
Well,
happened.
we do need someone to check.
Well, Tim is already on his way,
Yes.
and he was told to investigate. So when he
Good.
sees the priest is dead, then
Yeah.
might as well.
Okay.
Then Francesca heads back to the door or the
Yes.
doors.
As
Okay.
I think Akhlon will stay where he is and look at the corpse, and then if Medea is still close to him. In fact, even if she isn't, he just looks and then says to whoever can hear him, even if that's just himself, says, "That was rather anticlimactic."
We are nowhere near done.
Of course not.
Speaking of Medea, where is what's she doing?
Well, the priest is dead and the man left. So she's just standing by the altar seeing what the hell he was doing.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
Is it still raining blood?
it's still raining blood. Yes.
oh God.
Well, she is still drenched in blood then.
Okay. And
I
Aguilar
wouldn't-
would be as well then, and Sis Francesca for that matter.
Yeah.
Goody.
Well, again, she's at least she might be covered in blood, but she's also glowing.
Ah, she.
Well, not just
There is that.
glowing. She's emitting light.
Yeah.
In a 10 meter radius of
So,
daylight strength. So yeah.
so if the light is coming from within, she's actually making porn light with all the red around now.
Oh God.
I think, depending on how close Medea gets to the altar, I think Akhlon will say, "I wouldn't get too close to that if I were you."
Well, she's already up by it,
Then
looking at what he was doing.
in that case, he'll say, "Yeah, don't get close to that. Please come away from there. It could do all kinds of things to you."
Is there anything on it?
Well, there.
A corpse?
There's a there is a corpse, of course, of the bishop hanging over it, and then there are a few holy texts. One of them open. There are various other holy or instruments used in the various holy ceremonies that he performs. And then there are 2 ribs.
2 ribs.
Yes.
His
Apparently
ribs.
he'd managed to cut out 2 of his ribs.
Mhm.
And of course,
Weirdo!
Yeah, judging. I can only judge by his passion of pain that he had. It was something Slaneshi. People who do things in the name of Slanesh do some pretty fucked up shit.
Yes, to put it
That's-
mildly.
Yes, so that's an understatement.
indeed.
But yeah,
She doesn't touch anything. Agalon told her not to.
mhm.
But she is still watching, looking. She can't obviously read, but she can, see if it's one of the books that Francesca usually has, or if it's something else.
There is one last thing upon the altar that Medea doesn't think should be there. It's a
The ribs.
well, apart from the ribs, there is a disc lying upon the altar, a hexagonal disc.
A computer thing?
Nope. Just it looks like it's made of some kind of stone, black stone, and upon it are signs, symbols. These symbols make Medea's head hurt.
Medea growls at it and walks away.
Well, as she does walk away, the headache recedes and then becomes nothing.
She keeps a distance to the disc thingy and then looks at the other stuff because the disc thingy was not a friend.
Akhlon will go. We'll check. having seen her growl, will go, "What did you see?"
Weird thing. Makes my head hurt.
Forgive me for being blunt about this, but I think I need a better description than weird thing. There are a lot of weird things here at the moment.
Well, I'm not looking at it again. Pain is annoying.
Can you describe its shape? What it was made of?
She tries to count the sides.
Six-sided. Yeah.
What's after
Okay.
5?
6.
6 sides. Made of stone. Weird symbols.
I see. Akalon knows better than to go near it. If it causes her to have painful headaches, then him going near it is going to be suicidal.
Meanwhile, Sister Francesca has reached the double doors, and it should be mentioned that outside people are going about their business. But she does, as she stands there looking out, she does notice a squad of what appears to be arbitrators approaching the cathedral.
Arbitrators.
Yes.
Well, imagine that.
How convenient.
Yes, how very convenient indeed. Well, again, Francesca is standing in the door and she's lighting up like a Christmas tree. So I'm assuming that they will see her if they haven't already.
Well, it should be mentioned that when I said that people go about their business, that's not quite true, because having a sister of battle basically lighting up the way she does, that's not something they see every day. So people stop and gawk and stare and wonder at the angelic figure standing up by the cathedral, and
Yes.
some of them drop to their knees.
See, that's problematic. Akalon, could you kindly do the honors and make these people not kneel and go back, doing their daily business? I should not be worshipped or adored in such a way. They can save that for the Emperor, and if they want to adore Sister of Battle, they can do so to the Holy Saint Celestine.
Having heard her shout for him, he comes up to her and hears her speaking as he gets to her and says, "Well, what exactly do you expect me to do?
Go down there and usher them away. I'm not leaving the doorway here, because then somebody's going to try to get in."
Indeed. All right, people. He goes down there and
Okay. So before he reaches the throng of people gathered around the cathedral, the arbitrators, the Adeptus Arbitus, reach the staircase and start ascending. And as they come near Akalon, the commanding arbitrator points at Akalon and says to some of his arbitrators, "Seize that man!"
That's what?
Francesca shouts out to them and says that he is an agent of the Holy Inquisition and cannot be detained except by inquisitorial order.
He doesn't miss a step. He just keeps walking without stopping as they walk past Akalon, and as she says that, he then says to his man, "You have an order."
She lowers her bolter towards them and says, "There has been enough heresy here for one day. If you go against the Holy Inquisition, You yourselves are guilty of heresy.
Think about it,
They-
man. It's not worth it.
the commanding arbitrator, again without missing a step, goes a few steps further, and then she says what she says, and he goes down to one knee. The other arbitrators do so as well, and then they raise their weapons to.
She doesn't move.
Oh no.
She doesn't move. This is if it's a standoff they want, then it's a standoff they will get.
And it's a
But
standoff they have.
But she is not backing down. This is too serious.
Two arbitrators move to apprehend.
Akalon, get up here.
Yeah, Akalon, joining the standoff, backs slowly away. He had been leaning on his staff. He's now got it held in a, head down, almost in a kind of ready to swing it out motion. And he hasn't drawn his pistol, which he put back in his jacket, but because if he draws his weapon, that could just lead them shooting him.
Yeah,
he does
absolutely.
back up slowly towards her, but it's as slowly as you can while being hounded by a couple of dodgy arbitrators.
Yes, dodgy.
Well,
arbitrators.
if he does move backward or back toward Sister Francesca, the one of the two that move to apprehend him fire a warning shot, and then
Then she fires a warning shot over the head of them.
Yeah, Akalon grits his teeth.
She's not giving them so much as an inch in this.
Okay.
Do Medea hear the commotion when she fires Bolter?
Well, she
the
heard the
doorway?
commotion of
Half
the
of-
initial warning shot. So-
Half of Scintilla heard the warning shot from the bolter.
Medea is by her side instantly with her guns.
Well, it does take. The cathedral is large, so it does take a while for her to get from the altar, where she's standing near the altar, and down to Sister Francesca. It should be said.
And then she calls upwards, Tim!
Can I find a window or some sort?
You absolutely can.
Well, that seems like a mighty fine sniping position.
It absolutely
Yeah, it
is.
does.
I aim for the leader guy. I don't fire anything. I just keep,
A bead on him, yeah.
You aim at him.
Yes.
Okay.
I have no idea, she says, whose authority you are acting on, arbitrator. But I do point your attention towards the Rosarius currently hanging around my waist. I am acting on behalf of the Ordo Hereticus, and I'm telling you that this is an investigation of the Inquisition.
That is where you are mistaken, my good sister. This is within our jurisdiction, and if you wish this to be an inquisitorial investigation, you can take it up with Commander Praetor Axis.
I tried.
Well, then try again.
Very well. There will
Then-
be no detaining an inquisitorial agent, however. You can investigate as much as you want, and we shall be happy to answer any questions you have. But there will be no detaining of any agent of the Inquisition. That is, in fact, beyond your jurisdiction.
I agree. But since this is our jurisdiction, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the cathedral. You and whoever is in there with you.
I'm leaving this cathedral when I've had a chance to talk to your superior about the open heresy which is going on here.
I will strongly suggest that you leave it prior to talking to our Commander
Then I
Praetor.
shall stand right here and wait for you to to contact your Commander Praetor. And once I've had a chance to talk to him over your Vox, if nothing else, then I shall be happy to leave. However, this is still a place of open heresy.
He whispers something to one of the arbitrators standing beside him, who then runs off.
And then we have a picnic.
And then
Yeah.
you have a picnic.
And well, a break at the very least.
We are coming
Actually,
up on a
that's a-
break, so yeah,
Yes.
let's take a break and see where this standoff
Holy
leads
shit!
when we
Yes.
get back.
This is not a Mexican standoff. This is a Scintillan standoff.
Yes. So anyway,
Did you say, AJ?
yeah. What did you say, AJ?
Nothing.
Okay, we'll be
Break.
right back.